WBA welterweight champion Keith Thurman says he's been ducking Errol the Truth Spence Jr., but he says that is not the reason why Errol is mad at him. Tap in.
Alright, I'm ready. They know when I was down, now they see I bounce back. Now they all in their feelings. My partner told me, King, don't worry about that. Said it's time to make a killing. It's a new day, getting new money, but I don't with new. I'm just sticking to the business and the money is the mission, about to stack it to the ceiling. Now they all in their feelings. So you mad, bro? Now they all in their feelings. Tell me got them all in their feelings. All in their feelings. So you mad? Now they all in their feelings. Tell me got them all in their feelings. All in their feelings. It's a new day. Now they all in their feelings. Money, but I got them all in their feelings. All in their feelings. Now they all in their feelings. About to stack it.
And really, he ain't mad because I'm ducking him.
Wait, whoa. What? Did I just hear that right?
And really, he ain't mad because I'm ducking him.
Say, hey, y'all come get y'all homie, man. Come get y'all boy Keith, man. Like, oh, man. This guy, we're going to talk about this, man. It ain't much to talk about, but we're going to talk about it because it's fun. This is funny. So, he ain't mad because I'm ducking him. Hey, that's wild funny. Alright, so peep game. So Errol Spence did an interview. He came out and they was asking him about Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, you know, the typical stuff. And, you know, he let it be known that he really didn't have a real issue with Sean, you know. But he goes on to say he really don't like Keith. He said he dislikes Keith. He has a real dislike for Keith. He don't like the boy. And he dislikes Keith more than he dislikes Sean, but he really doesn't have any real issue with Sean. And so, you know, the public, you know, there's been wide speculation that Errol Spence doesn't like Keith and he's quote unquote mad at Keith because Keith held up the welterweight division. He held up the titles. He was inactive for 22 months, almost 2 years. Because of that, he was stripped of the WBC belt. The WBA, for some reason, allowed him to maintain that belt. And Errol Spence is just like, you know, he's been wanting to fight Keith for a long time. Errol Spence himself said he's been wanting to fight Keith since Errol was 15-0 in professional boxing. Errol is currently 25-0. So as you can see, he's been wanting to fight Keith Thurman a whole 10 fights ago. And if you pay attention to boxing, you know most fighters, they fight once, twice, maybe 3 times a year. So he's been wanting to fight Keith since 15-0. He's now 25-0. That tells you how long it's been since he's been trying to fight Keith. Multiple years since he's been trying to get that fight. Hasn't been able to get it. He first came on the scene. Keith said, oh, he's a nice young up-and-coming prospect. He has to wait his turn. He has to, you know, build his resume up. You know, all this, you know how they try to downplay it. How he always tries to downplay other fighters. But anyway, so Errol Spence, he comes up. He builds up his resume. He's knocking boys out left and right. And then this fool, Keith, he gets injured. He stays out of the sport for 2 years. And you're still holding on to this belt. And Errol Spence wanted that belt. And he's been wanting to fight Keith. So it's been speculated that that's why Errol, quote unquote, is mad at Keith Thurman. So they just interviewed Keith Thurman and they brought that up. You know, they brought it up to Keith and said, hey, Errol just did an interview. He's talking about how he really don't like you. And this guy Thurman says he's not mad at me because I've been ducking him. That just sounds so funny. He said he's not mad at me because I've been ducking him. He's mad because I get the better fights. So with him saying that, I'm hoping that we're just taking it out of context of what he actually really meant. I'm hoping he meant to say something like, Errol's not mad at me because he feels like I'm ducking him. That would, that would be something totally different. But he just came out and said he's not mad at me because I'm ducking him. And if you're a guy, if you know you're a fighter and you know that the general public has been saying for quite some time that you have been ducking Errol Spence, I think you would be more conscious of the words that you use when you are trying to explain why Errol is mad at you, if indeed you're not ducking him, because if you are indeed not ducking him, I think you would have, used a better choice of words than what you used. But hey, it is what it is. Like I said, it's not much to talk about, but I just thought it was funny, but hey, just slightly shifting gears a little bit. I'm extra amped for this fight next week, man. I'm telling y'all, July 20th. Keith Thurman got the fight with Manny Pacquiao. July 20th, Las Vegas, a day before my birthday. My birthday's on the 21st, so I'm definitely gonna be getting drunk watching that fight and then celebrating my birthday. But anyways, this fight is gonna be a huge fight, and I'm really interested in seeing who's gonna come out as the winner of this fight, because it's it's gonna be very interesting. I really think Manny Pacquiao is being overlooked when it comes to this whole age thing. I really think Pacquiao's movement, his awkwardness, his bouncing in and out, it's gonna be hard for Keith Thurman to catch that rhythm. And I think Pacquiao could actually win this fight. I'm pulling for Pacquiao actually, but if Thurman wins, it's gonna be very interesting if Keith Thurman wins this fight, because 2020, it's gonna get to a point to where Keith is gonna have to step up and make some of these fights that we've been wanting to see. He's already stated that after this fight, July 20th, he's not fighting anymore for the rest of the year. Even though it's July, August, September, October, November, December, even though it's 5 months left in the year, that's plenty of time to get another fight in. But hey, he is coming off of a 2-year layoff, and he's already fought in January. Now he's fighting again in July. So a guy coming off of a 2-year layoff, you just got to be happy with him fighting twice, this year. So I'm cool with that. But however, what I didn't like when he said he's not coming back for the rest of the year, what I didn't like is when he said at the beginning of 2020, when he do return, he's not going straight into a fight with Errol Spence Jr. I don't understand that. I don't get that. I don't understand why he would need another tune-up or whatever. But if he wins this fight with Pacquiao, it's going to be interesting to see who he chooses as a dance partner for early 2020. You can bet your bottom dollar it's not going to be Terrence Boogeyman Bud. My guess, I would have to say the rematch with Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman, he's already expressed, that the rematch with Danny Garcia and the rematch with Sean Porter, he's already acknowledged and expressed that those are still big fights for him. He knows they're still big fights for him. I think the public wouldn't mind seeing both of those fights again. So yeah, I would think Danny is a front runner. A crazy plot twist if Sean was to somehow beat Errol Spence in September. You can bet your bottom dollar Keith Thurman, he's gonna try to break his neck to make that Sean Porter fight, that Sean Porter rematch happen ASAP. Because if Sean Porter beats Errol Spence, Sean Porter will now be the WBC and the IBF champion. And so you know, Keith Thurman, he'd love to get those belts. He'd love to get his WBC belt back, and then he would have the addition of the IBF. So, you know, it's looking like it's going to be a good year for 2020. If Keith Thurman beats Pacquiao and then he beats whoever he decides to face at the beginning of the year, we're going to see if he holds up on his word. His word was he wasn't fighting Errol Spence until 2020, late 2020. And so we'll see if he's finally going to not duck Errol Spence and give us this fight. But yeah, that's all I got for now, man. Sincerely yours, KING, and I'm gone. So I haven't been on YouTube much lately. I originally created this channel for music. I was once an aspiring artist, but through life's twists and turns, pursuing music is no longer a dream of mine. However, I will still upload new music every now and then. I am working on a new album. It's called In Case You Forgot. But constantly putting out new music is a thing of the past for me now. On this channel, I will be focusing mostly on boxing talk. So if you are a fan of music, hip-hop in particular, or if you're a boxing fan, please tap in. When I say tap in, I mean hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can get all the notifications for all new videos that I drop on the channel. And last but not least, I want to shout out the channels that inspired me to start giving my thoughts and views on what's going on in the boxing world and reporting some of the breaking news of what's going on in the boxing world. So shout out to those guys: Dante's Boxing Nation, Boxing Ego, Blue Blood Sports TV, Goodfella Sports TV, Famous Athletics, and Gym Boxing. Salute. There's a lot of other channels that I watch and get my boxing knowledge from, but these are the guys that I literally watch and listen to every single day. So be sure to subscribe to all those guys as well. They put out great content every day. And like I said, man, just tap in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and I'm out.